Hey guys, Gabe Suarez here, Suarez Tactics, continuing with the discussion of the material in Pistol Gunfighting 1. Okay, we talked with in terms of the CZ, we talked about trigger management, we talked about hammer management, we're going to talk about ammo management here. Now this applies not only to this weapon system, it applies to Glocks, it applies to Berettas, it applies to SIGs, it applies to pretty much whatever. This is the way that I run my system. There's reasons behind it. When you come to class, I'd be happy to explain. Again, my focus is not winning gun games. My focus is winning gun fights. And so I keep that into consideration when I am developing the material that I teach you. I keep into consideration the physical state and the mental state that you're going to be in. For many of you, your first gunfight ever in your life. The level of stress that you're going to have, the decrease of manual dexterity, all these different things that don't apply in sporting events that apply in real world. So that's what I base all of my material on. I want to make all of my techniques as robust as possible so that when you're at your worst, under the worst possible circumstances, you can still prevail and do so not only with efficiency, but also with style. Okay? All right. Now, proactive gun manipulations that we teach. All right? There's two. One, making sure your weapon is loaded, and then number two, keeping it loaded during the fight. Okay? Making sure your weapon is loaded. This is what you do when you get up in the morning. You grab this pistol. You're about to put it in your holster and go off to do God's work. You pick up the weapon, okay? The hammer will go back here because it's a double action pistol, and I check the status of the weapon. This is what I'm doing. I'm looking inside there, doing this, okay? The chamber is loaded, ready to go. I decock because there's no need to keep the weapon in full cock for this. I remove the magazine. I check it, verify that it's loaded, and then I check the optic and make sure that my dot is still aligned in the spot that it needs to be on my front sight. I'm good to go. Now I can holster and go off into the world. Okay? Now, the second proactive manipulation involves keeping the weapon loaded during the fight. Now, here's the thing you need to remember. If I have one round left in my pistol and one adversary to shoot, I'm going to shoot that adversary and go to slide lock. Okay? I'm not going to worry about doing a reload before I engage and all this sort of thing. However, gunfights, real gunfights, involve high intensity, short duration events. There is a burst of activity, and then after that, one or both parties have been shot, or one or both parties retreat to safety and regroup to reevaluate. Okay, so we don't have these prolonged gunfight type situations, outside of like a SWAT special operations environment. They happen by surprise. They happen suddenly, and then they stop. Okay, so the issue that you don't want to fall into is when it appears that it has stopped. You don't want to assume that, oh, okay, it's all over, everything's good now, I can go back to doing whatever I was doing, because you may guess wrong. There have been plenty of times when the gunfight seems to stop and then it picks up again in a few seconds and so on, especially in urban places like, Southern California and Detroit and places like that where the bad guys are motivated. These are skilled bad guys. All right, so you want to make sure that you don't stand around with an empty gun. You want to keep the weapon up to capacity. If you've done a shotgun class, you notice that the part of the shotgun material is the instructor's always saying, shoot one, load one, feed the beast, and all this kind of stuff. Guys, it's the same thing with a pistol. Same exact thing with a pistol. Okay? If you've engaged and you've gone through part of your magazine, don't stand around with that half a magazine in there. If you have an opportunity, change the magazine. Also, don't assume that every time you reload, you're going to get rid of the magazine that you're carrying. Okay? Because in the real world, as opposed to the shooting range, as opposed to the shooting match, you don't show up festooned with magazines all over your body, bristling with ammunition. You carry maybe one or two spares, and you're by yourself. You're not a member of a team, and really, I mean, I did that video about pocket dumps, and people were shocked at how little stuff I carry. It's because I am not going to war every time I leave the house, and neither are you. Okay, you probably carry one or two magazines. So do you really want to condition yourself to dropping that magazine that still has maybe 10 rounds in it or something? No, that's stupid. Why would you do that? You don't have to. Take a breath, exchange magazines, and then get back in the fight if necessary, or realize that you are able to get back in the fight at full capacity. The way I like to do it is this. There's a couple of ways. okay? And I'm going to show you both. Now, one involves one item in one hand at one time, okay? So it all depends. You got to ask yourself, you got to be honest. What is my manual dexterity? Am I really good, man? Can I do card tricks and all this kind of stuff? Or, you know, am I kind of Forrest Gump with 10 thumbs? The simplest one. I'm here. I've engaged. I've shot some bad guys. Okay. I've done my after action. Everything looks good. I don't have anybody else to shoot. No one else is shooting at me. Okay. I bring the weapon up here. I keep it in my workspace so I can see what's going on around me. A lot of instructors will teach you to point the gun down because the rules of their particular range don't like this. Okay. That doesn't mean that's the way you want to do it for real. You want to do it like this for real. Because if I am down here, my gun is down, my eyes are down. Gun down, shoot the ground. Gun high, shoot the guy. Okay? So I like to teach gun high. If I am working at a range, or if you're working at a range that precludes that because of their particular reasons, make sure you explain to the student why. Because you want them to leave with a reality-based perspective, not some bullshit rule that some range had to create to placate their liability concerns. Okay, so up in here like this. Magazine comes out. This is the depleted magazine. Most of it is done. I take it out. I put it away. I grab the fresh magazine. I insert it in the pistol, and I work the slide. Okay, why do I work the slide? 1 second of cheap insurance. Okay, I'm just loading up a 16-round magazine. I'm not sure if I have one in the chamber or not. Has your pistol ever failed to lock open on an empty magazine? All of them do it one time or another. Okay? So that is 1 second of cheap insurance. Now, here's the thing. If you're a high-speed, low-drag, soul-snatching guy, okay, when you extract this magazine, you can touch that follower. And if you feel the follower, that means that that magazine is empty. And there's a good chance there's no round in here. Okay, so when you replace it, you can go ahead and cycle that slide. However, again, being the ice water in the veins, soul snatching type guy, you feel that there's a round there. Probably there's a round in here too. Okay, can you do that? Absolutely. What do I do? I like to be sure. Okay, so magazine out, magazine in, run the slide, get back in the fight. Simple as that. Now, if you have a great deal of manual dexterity, you've been doing this since you were in diapers and all that sort of thing, and you want to be a little bit of a high performer, here's an alternative. Okay, so I'm here. I've just shot my bad guys. Okay, sadly, there's nobody else that wants to fight with me here. Okay, great. So I reach in, I grab this magazine, I bring it underneath, I drop this magazine in my hand. Okay, so this is what I'm doing right here. I switch, and I reacquire my grip, and I'm ready to go. That was a lot faster and a lot simpler if you have manual dexterity. Okay, and then when I'm ready, I can go ahead and secure this, and I'm back in the fight. Okay, so the first one is just proactive reload. The second one is also proactive reload, but I call it the gang unit reload because we used to do some crazy things back in the day with our team. Anyway, ammunition management, proactively, this is how we do it.